Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel and a new program. This is Dan at the Soulify Group, and just before we get started, I'd like to let you know that you can contact us through soulify861@gmail.com. That's soulify861@gmail.com, or feel free to leave comments on the YouTube comment section. However, we do have some deeper encryptions on our Gmail account. If you want to talk something specific about your healing journey or ask specific questions, I encourage you to use our email. But either way, we're so happy to hear from you anytime that we do. And again, I want to welcome each and every one of you returning to the channel. And I hope that the sun isn't too distracting for you today. I just love it. I'm out in nature today. And before we end the program today, we're going to show you some shots of the pond and my favorite geese that come to visit anytime anytime I'm out here, so you could hear them or actually see them. So I have a sort of a table here set up right on the water's edge, and so many times they come and visit. So again, we welcome all those from the United States as well as those that are listening internationally as well. We welcome you guys as well, because I know you have to catch us at certain times. And so anyway, welcome. If you're brand new to our channel, we are the Soulify Group. That's SOULIFY. And you can, if this doesn't pop right up on your page, just enter the Soulify Group in your search bar there, and it will bring it up. And we encourage you to like and subscribe if you like the content that we post. And by the way, the content that we do post is all about living a life that is fulfilled, finding that true purpose, and going through the steps of healing. And we'll answer all the questions of why we need to heal, how we find our true purpose, and once we get to the true purpose, what then? What do we do then? And so if you enjoy the content, you can give us a comment, or you can give us a like and subscribe. I am not one of those that tries to get millions and millions of likes and hits and that kind of thing, because I really feel that I believe that the Lord will lead you to the channel if you are in need of this content. And also we have a designated prayer time each and every day. So if you'd like us to pray for you, you can let us know that as well. And again, at the beginning of every program, I try to really let you all know that we're not looking for any specific religious order, or you don't have to be from any specific group to be able to join our channel. And as a matter of fact, we like those from different walks of life. And whether you're Christian, agnostic, atheist, Buddhist, Muslim faith, or any other faith, that's perfectly, you're always welcome here in our channel. And we want to also welcome the LGBTQ plus community as well. You're always welcome here. You're always welcome to add your comments as well. And with that, we are going to get started. We do have a full program today. And so the last few weeks we've talked about healing, about finding that true purpose, what your destiny may or may not be, and how to move through those those specific healing modalities, as well as things like mindfulness, awareness, and what true love is. We did a segment on that because I really think that in today's society, we have to be reminded of that sometimes. And so again, welcome all those that are viewing from inside the United States as well as internationally. We're always happy to have you. And if you would like to, leave us a comment of where you're listening from. It's always nice to know, where everybody's located. So today we are going to talk about a subject today that's very near and dear to my heart, as well as after you start the healing process. Sometimes we can have a lot of adversity, as you know, trauma, immense stress, as we're going through these modalities, as we're trying to heal all those wounds that may have occurred even way back in childhood, adolescence. It could be even after you were an adult. Whenever it was, it doesn't matter. So we're going to talk a little bit about what is resilience. We hear that term a lot, and we talk about to be resilient. And so how do we get that? How do we develop that, and how do we cultivate that? So it's a force that propels us to recover from all these setbacks, to rise above all the hardships, and persevere against all the odds, and especially all of the trauma and all the things associated with that. Now, whether your trauma comes from past relationships, relationships with your children, maybe financial, it could be you go from job to job, however that is. And I'm going to put my glasses on out here. I hope, I just need it to see, but also they turn dark, so I don't want that to distract you in any way. And so this is what we're going to discuss today, because it's very important, because so many times we stumble upon how to heal, how to talk to people, how to set up all the modalities. And I'm thinking specifically about the self-awareness. I dropped a video not long ago. It's actually been a couple months ago now. And there's actually 13 modalities in that one subject. And so a lot of times, if you don't know how to, how to think about things and how to go about healing these traumas and the stresses, sometimes we're at a loss as to how to move forward. We feel stuck sometimes, but you never need to be stuck. So resilience is not a trait that you're born with. All of us are born much the same. We're a beautiful little baby, and we eat and we cry and we learn from our parents. We learn from being in the world, right? And unfortunately, we're taught from an early age to live on the outside of things instead of going on the inside of things. In other words, this beautiful heart space that we have in our inner self. Remember that we are a dual person. We also we are a spiritual being having a human experience, right? So there's a human self and there's the soul or the spiritual self, and so many times we treat that separately when we should be going on the inside, connecting with our soul, connecting with our spiritual self. And so many times we're taught from a very early age that we're separate, and we stay on the outside, and we get all of these abuses done to us, all the traumas that are done to us, so forth and so on. So resilience is something that we have to learn. And I remember in my case, I had quite a childhood, quite a traumatic childhood and adulthood, I will have to say. And so it was at an early age that God, taught me all about resilience. Now, so many times we're going to refer to whatever you refer to that higher power as, whether that's God, Yahweh, spirit, source, universe, whatever you resonate with is completely fine. We just didn't want to have to mention the, 15 or 20 more popular terms that people use to refer to that higher power. So we're in no way here trying to change your core beliefs. We're not here to, say you're right or wrong for using the term that you use. That's totally up to you. And so as we move on in this discussion, we do want you to look at the limiting beliefs that you have, and those are those things that you different people assign to you throughout your childhood, whether it be adolescence or even beyond sometimes, that says like I'll never amount to anything, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'll never be a millionaire, so therefore I can't start my own business, or all those limiting beliefs that we have been told, and then you put it on the inside of yourself. You talk to yourself in that way, and then before long those take hold. Now we do want you to look at that, because we do need to be able to let that go, surrender all of that. And but no, we're not here to change your core beliefs, who you believe in, what your travel path through life should be. That's up to you. That's your business, not my business, right? And so I just want to put you at ease, so that if I don't use the term that you use to refer to that higher power, don't feel like I'm excluding that. It's just that, for the sake of the time on the video, we try to make these as short as possible. And so anyway, we're kind of getting sidetracked. But resilience, you're not born with resilience. You have to learn. But it's a skill honed through your behavior, through your thoughts. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, how to control and manage those thoughts and the emotions and the way you think, right? Because this dictates how you're going to look at life and how you're going to look at those wounds that you have deep inside of yourself. And so some of the key components that forge resilience, include what we were just talking about, the emotional regulation, especially optimism. We need in this world optimism, not pessimism. Optimism. This is what God originally, your Creator, created you with. The self-efficacy and also the emotional and self-awareness, that come with resilience or lack of resilience, whichever way that you currently are. And so we want to learn how to manage our unwanted thoughts, those feelings and emotions, and that has a lot to do with understanding how to manage your energy. And by energy, I'm speaking of vibrations, frequency, and the magnetism that all of us each have. And we are, I've said this for a long time, but I was actually waiting on some electronic equipment to be installed at Solify, and it looks like that's very slow coming to fruition. So I think that we're probably going to just drop some videos on that, just so we don't have to keep waiting, because it's very paramount that each one of us understand how to manage your own your own energy, vibration, and when those become low instead of high, how you change that, how you can flip it and soar. I want you to be able to thrive not only physically, but spiritually and emotionally as well. And so, in order to do that, we have to understand how to manage those thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Now, resilience helps us withstand life's hardest trials. And of course, you've heard me talk about that I'm going to drop my testimony, which we are working on that diligently. It will be a several video series, as well as in the written word as well. But I can tell you that I'm no stranger to these harsh trials that have come along, and I used to do a lot of complaining, to God about that early in my life. But Spirit Source Universe has shown me so beautifully and with such love that all of these were for a purpose. They were for me, not against me. And you'll find that out in your life as well. There's reasons for the specific trials that you've had, for the specific experiences that you've had. Really by rights, I should not even be here to be able to talk with you today. I'm so blessed that I am, but I had such a experience growing up, and even in my young adulthood, so many times that God Himself, my angel team, was there and protected me every step of the way, as they are protecting you as well. And so just remember, you have your own spiritual team. You have your guardian angels. You have the divine, God Almighty, whatever you call that power, Jesus, or if whatever term you use. We have Spirit Source Universe, always there to pick us up, to protect us, and to awaken us spiritually as well. Now, I didn't mention this in the very beginning part, but I am not a religious person. I consider myself very spiritual in nature. That is, I do not belong to a denomination. I do not belong to a set of rules and regulations. And that will become apparent if you follow us. For any length of time, you'll know that we are spiritual, but just we don't belong to a religious sect or organization. And so you're going to have challenges along the way, and it's how we manage those harsh trials, the challenges, the obstacles that are placed in our path. Those are placed there very specifically and for a reason. So never shrink back from these things. I know many people, including myself, when I first awakened spiritually, I used to do that. I used to say, well, maybe the enemy won't notice me back here in the corner, and never shrink back from all of these challenges that you receive. Actively seek the challenges, because you can actually make opportunities out of the challenges, out of the obstacles that are placed in your path. Don't worry about how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, because then we're trying to place control then on what God is doing in your life, whether that's Source, Spirit, Universe, Yahweh, because there are certain things that are not our place to do or to figure out. What we should be doing is actively healing ourselves, and actively going through those motions of fighting that spiritual battle that we have to, fight over, that we have to battle. Never shrink from the challenges. Your spiritual team is there to help you, even though it's going to feel, the very first time that you kind of experience it, it's going to feel really, low vibrational. And what I mean by that is it's going to be very heavy. It's going to weigh on your mind. It's going to I don't think I can I don't think I can stand the weight of this, but you can. So we're going to take it one step at a time, because this is where resilience comes in. This is where resilience is that strength of character that you have. Resilience is that strength in your soul that you are going to call upon when you need that. And so the challenges really teach us who we are, teach us what our soul is made of. And if you could only see your soul and what God created in you, the amazing, you know, just you're wonderfully created and made. And if you could only see how much stronger you are than you give yourself credit for. The challenges teach us who we are, the resilience that we have within us. And I can promise you that every one of you within earshot of this video has resilience. You just don't know you do, or you may not realize how much you do. You're so wonderfully made. You're so resilient. You're so strong in spirit. But a lot of times, I'm gonna go back to what I said originally, is that many times we're taught to live on the outside. We're taught to live in what I call the matrix, where we learn to deal with fear, doubt, despair, pain, and we consider that just part of everyday life, and it doesn't have to be. You know, so long ago I let go of the matrix. I don't live inside the matrix any longer, no more, you know, and we're going to refer to that, but you can call it what you want to. I call it the matrix, where you're taking what everyone says about you as the gospel truth. You're taking the news media, you're taking other media, you're taking social platforms, you're taking all these things. Remember, we have the 6 senses within us, and I say 6 instead of 5 because your intuition is actually number 6. But if you want to refer to the traditional ones as touch, feel, smell, and those kind of things, we have to protect your senses. Watch what you put into that. You know, your 6 senses are like a sponge. Whatever you look at, whatever you listen to, whatever you touch, whatever you taste, that is what's going inside of you. This is what I mean. We have to be on guard constantly as to what we're looking at, or touching, or feeling, or tasting. Okay? I don't know if you realize that there is a solution to every single challenge that you have in your life. There is no challenge that God, Spirit, Source, Universe has not already prepared you for, your soul for. But so many times we think of our physical self and our non-physical self as separate beings, right? But we're all one being, and this is why we need to go on the inside of ourselves, reconnect with our inner self, meaning our heart, our soul, and quit just listening to what's out there in the outer world physically, because that's what we traditionally, most people that are not awake spiritually, most people that haven't healed themselves, this is what they pay attention to. And so understanding the challenges is not going to be an easy task, okay? Now, some of you, like myself, that have experienced that for a number of years, you know that once you go through that once or twice, maybe it takes a third time, then it starts to become a little bit easier. It's not that you still don't feel that tightness or that low vibrational feel to it, but you know a little better of you know how to handle those things, and for sure you know not to listen to the enemy, okay? And so learn to take those risks. Learn to take the risk that God, Spirit, Source is leading you to take. You don't have to be you know, you don't have to have all of these wounds deep inside of you. You know how a wound is when something touches that, like salt, let's say. What happens if you have a little skin lesion and you get salt in it? It burns, right? It let you know that that wound is there. Same thing with wounds that are on the inside of ourselves, like in our hearts or our emotions. When something touches that, it's going to burn, right? It's going to feel low. It's going to be that low vibrational feel. And so don't be afraid of making mistakes. Oh my goodness, I've made so many mistakes when I consider my entire lifetime. Bring all the mistakes to the divine, to the Almighty. You're already forgiven. Victory is already yours. You don't have to worry about, oh, what if I have to, own up to my own mistakes, or what if I have to admit this to someone else, or whatever it is. Don't be afraid to forgive one another, okay? Because in forgiving someone else, you release yourself. Now, hopefully that other person is going to forgive you as well, like a reciprocal thing, so they can be released. And pray for your enemies. Don't wish them, forgive them and then all of a sudden wish revenge on them. This is God's work. This is Spirit, Source, Universe. This isn't our place to do that. It's kind of like the control that we were just talking about. Once we, we don't want to take hold of how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, by what means is it going to happen. That's God's work. That's not our work to determine, okay? And so sometimes we have to consider that our biggest enemy is us. It's kind of a you versus you situation when it comes to healing those inner wounds, those challenges, the trauma that we all have from time to time, especially when we first awaken spiritually. We have to determine what those wounds are and how we are going to go about healing those, right? So sometimes we have to go to war each and every day with ourselves, not with each other. Don't misconstrue that. We're not going to go to war with each other. We're going to go to war with ourselves. Now, many times, as you've heard me already say, many times we're still living separately. We think of our physical body, and then we think of our inner self, or our heart and emotions, thoughts, feelings of being in here, but we're actually all one being. So we really need to go inside of ourselves and integrate with our inner self, right? Our soul. But this is going to be discussed a lot when we do our managing our energy videos that we're going to drop. So let me ask a question. What is your biggest challenge that you're going to face day to day? I'm going to tell you, or I'm going to give you a hint. Fear and doubt are the biggest challenges that you will ever face ever in your life. Now, many things touch those emotions. Many things touch those low vibrational. Now, if you let fear and you let doubt persist, it can turn into other things. It turns into anxiety. It can turn into despair. It can turn into bitterness, malice, anger, resentment. All these things come from those two items, and mostly fear and doubt. Now, many times this manifests itself as self-doubt. It's not that you have doubt in your creator or in your spirit team or in any spirit source universe. Many times it's you have doubt about yourself. And actually, when we do that, when we talk, we're going to get to that in just a second, when we talk down to ourselves, this can damage our soul and our physical self. And we're going to talk about some of those manifestations here in just a moment, but that can lead to procrastination, which a lot of people misunderstand procrastination. Procrastination is not laziness. Procrastination is a byproduct of depression, actually. And once we understand why we're procrastinating, it could be you have a fear of failure. It could be from you're afraid to be seen and be heard. It could be many things it can be. And of course, we've already mentioned rejection and despair. And we also need to stay true to ourselves. Now, once we start the healing process, once resilience starts to take hold within ourselves, we're going to have that, and you've heard me talk a lot about this if you have followed me for any length of time, is authenticity. When that resilience starts to take hold within yourself, not only your soul but in your body as well, those masks that you've been wearing, sometimes involuntary but sometimes voluntary, they're going to suddenly come off. Okay, they're going to drop off, and the people are going to be able to see who you truly are, and which is going to be a wonderful thing to have happen. Trust me. And so then you're going to be able to speak not from your throat. A lot of people think it's that throat chakra that stops us from speaking, especially publicly, but it's going to allow you to speak from your heart. That heart chakra is going to open up. The more love you pour into yourself, and I really wish you guys would do something for me, and that is to stand in front of the mirror each and every morning and stare at yourself and tell yourself how much you love that person looking back at you. Okay? We have to pour love into ourselves. We have to feel love, immense love for ourselves before we can ever love someone else, before we can ever love what we're doing, what we're about. Okay? And so we're going to learn in the Managing Our Energy video that whatever is on the inside gets mirrored out. So do you want to know why you keep attracting the same people? Do you want to know why you keep going to the same places to work? The same, whatever it is. You want to know why you're still not receiving the money that you would like to receive? Because remember, everything on the inside is mirrored to the outside. And so as we learn more about resilience, this will become more and more evident. So there's some coping strategies that each one of us need to empower ourselves with. And we were talking earlier about negative self-talk to ourselves, but we need to do the opposite, the positive self-talk to ourselves, reframing those situations that you find within yourself that you've been talking negative to yourself about, and also stress management. These are 3 items that we really need to embrace immediately, right away, if you're not already doing that. And, stop letting yourself down. Stop talking negatively about yourself. Challenges, again, I want to reiterate this. Challenges are not roadblocks, okay? You will never be blocked by a challenge. You will if you persist and you talk down to yourself and negatively to yourself. But again, we need to make opportunities, allow ourselves to make those opportunities from those challenges. Go inward, okay? We should never live out here on this outside. Okay, so I briefly mentioned it, but if you want to know why you may have had relationship after relationship fail, and every time you meet someone new, it's the same type of person. Of course, it's going to be a different man or a different woman, but I guarantee you it will be the same type of person. Okay, but until you understand that, we have to go inside of ourselves, connect with our heart space, our inner self, our soul, and this whole spirit team that we have here. Remember, we are source energy. We are universe having a specific reality, right? If you want this reality on the outside to change, We have to go inward, connect with ourselves, okay? Talk positively to ourselves, heal ourselves, and everything that's in here, this beautiful stuff that's on the inside that you never pay attention to, that's going to get mirrored to the outside. In our video, when we drop it about the vibrations, you're going to learn how to change the vibrations. If your vibrations are low, change them. You are the one that has the power to do that. Okay? No one else. It's not about being in some specific city or some specific location so that you can meet a better quality man or woman. No, it's what's in here. You're mirroring that to the outside. Okay? Not from the outside inside. Okay? You will never, never, never change yourself if you're expecting some different course of action to happen, and you're still out here living on the outside 100% of the time. So stop letting yourself down. Go inward and watch what happens. Watch what happens. I challenge you to do that and get out of that comfort zone. You know, I dropped a video called I think it's the neatly wrapped box, and this is what it's all about, is getting out of our comfort zone. Until we actually get out of the comfort zone, until we actually take a step out and we start doing different things differently, but we still, for some reason, we're still expecting our life to do a 360 change, but we don't want to come out of our comfort zone or our nice, neatly little wrapped box that we have for ourselves. You know, don't be afraid of failing. You know what all failure is? All failure is a temporary stoppage to what you were trying to do to begin with. Just stop, reassess what you need to reassess, and go again. That's all it is. Learn from those failures, though. You know, all failures is maybe you didn't think a process all the way through. Maybe you didn't think it from the beginning to the end, so there's some piece of that, you know, that failed. And I remember many times, I give this example because it did really scare me back many years ago when I first graduated high school, and you can tell that it's been a long time ago now. I was asked to start public speaking. I was with an organization, and at first it went kind of good because there was only a few people that I had to go up in front of, and I was usually pretty prepared. But as the audiences grew, so did my apprehension, so did my fear, my doubt that I could do it. And then after I started speaking, you know, before, I don't know, maybe, you know, 50, 60 people, which wasn't bad. One of the times I had to speak was well over 1,000 people. I walked in, and I walked into the back of the auditorium, and I could see all the backs toward me, right? And I thought, oh man, there's no way I can do that. And so about halfway through the program, I was introduced, and it came time for me to stand up and to, you know, to give my presentation. Now, this was in a business organization. It was actually my job, and it was my job to explain the financial picture of our company. At that particular time, it was like the end of the year, and I just happened to be that department head that had to explain it all. So not only did I have to prepare the reports and have a whiteboard, and we had video cameras. I mean, you talk about a petrified person. I was full of all those things: fear, doubt, worry, anxiety. And so it's only by stepping out of that comfort zone that you start to feel comfortable with whatever it is that you're called to do. I'm just giving one example. It might be starting a business. It might be opening, let's say, a bakery. It may be like I had to do, stand in front of all of your peers and explain either the positive or the negative loss that you had that year, or it could be something totally different. And as we determine what our true purpose is and what our destiny is, and as things start to unfold, it'll be other things along the way. So it may be in this healing process, many times we cannot bring with us all the people, places, and things that we once had in our life, right? So that can be coming out of your comfort zone as well, having to do with less or whatever it is. Come out of those comfort zones. And when we experience all the adversity, the trauma, and fear, we have to fight back. Don't just take it. Don't, like I mentioned before, shrink down in a corner of your consciousness and hope that, whether it's an enemy or whether it's something natural that happens, hoping that it doesn't see you. No, run to the center of the storm. Attack your fear. Whatever, fear really is an illusion. Now, it's not an illusion where you can just laugh at it and say, well, that's not really real anyway, so I don't care. Usually fear is something that you have to work through in order to be able to let that go, in order to be able to completely surrender that. Go on the offense. Don't always be stuck on the defense. Do not always take the defensive action. Meet it head on. Embrace the unknown instead of fear. Okay, so many times the unknown can be what we call fear. Embrace the struggle. Okay, so I want to give you a little story here to help underscore what I'm talking about fear. There's something that I grew up with were cows, right? And so out on the farm or out in the country, you see when a horrific storm comes up, it gets all black as the wind picks up, the thunder starts happening, and what do cows do? They usually run underneath a tree. They'll run and hope that the lightning doesn't strike them. And what they do, they all huddle together so close that their bodies are actually touching each other. Well, what we should be doing is like the buffalo do. Did you know the buffalo, when a storm comes up, they don't do as the cows do. The buffalo run to the center of the storm. They run to the blackest area. They run to the heaviest rainfall or windstorm, because they know right on the other side of that is the sunshine. They know right on the other side of that is freedom, is the sunshine, and then they'll all be safe. They don't huddle all together. They make a run for the center of the storm. And this is what we as individuals, we as many times, yes, we have to do it scared. Many times we do. We have to run toward, I can honestly say every time you have a challenge or you have a fear, run to the center of that. Don't backtrack. Don't huddle down and be on the defensive. Take the offensive against that struggle, whatever it is. It's through embracing your struggles that you'll find out exactly what you're made from, right? Struggles will push your mental limits. Remember, this is a spiritual battle. This isn't a physical battle, okay? So remember, this is spiritual in nature. And also, it's calling upon us to really look at those wounds, those the struggles, the unwanted thoughts, feelings, emotions that we're experiencing. Embrace the discomfort. This is a very necessary work to be done. You know, view all the difficulties as opportunities, and then you'll find that challenge that used to be a challenge will actually become your friend, and you're going to remember the next time that comes up, or if it even does come up. But if it does, you'll know, oh, I handled that in this way or that way, and then it's not going to be so much of a challenge. You know, use all the growth mindset that you have already learned. You know, use challenges to develop that personal growth, that path that you started on at the beginning when you first awakened spiritually, and wherever you're at in your, you know, in your journey. You know, we have to actually have some self-discipline about ourselves as well, as we are cultivating what our dreams are, what our goals are. We really have to we have to stop choosing to be defensive. We have to stop choosing fear, you know, over feeling good about that particular challenge. We have to stop choosing to be lethargic. We have to go for the storm. We have to get in the center of the storm. You know, personal discipline is not an option. This is a work that we have to embrace. And you know, personal discipline isn't as bad as it sounds. And I can send you some information if you want to write to me about personal discipline, how to develop a personal discipline mindset. You know, growth mindset, belief, faith, you know, all of these things help us keep that positive attitude. And also, as we're going through the different challenges, we have to develop something that God gives us. But once God gives it to us, we have to cultivate it, to develop it, and that's courage and bravery. Now, I know a lot of people think that if you have courage, it means there's no fear anywhere in your life, but that's not true. Courage is that very thing that lets you look at fear in the face and go anyway. Move forward anyway. Go to the center of the storm anyway, even if you have to do it scared. Being courageous means that you're ready and willing to face any challenge that comes your way. Center your mind and your body. Again, we have two separate systems that we need to integrate. Excuse me, and that is our spiritual body, or our spiritual self, and our physical body, or some may want to refer to it as our physical self and non-physical self. Okay, so be courageous. You're meant to face any challenge that comes up. Recommit or pivot or take that leap of faith. You know, there's something that also that we need to discuss, and that is our faith and our trust in the divine, whatever power that is that you resonate with. So I can promise you that your Creator has already given you faith and trust. And at the beginning, we talked a little bit about doubt. Doubt destroys faith. So if you allow yourself to stay in doubt constantly, then it's going to wane a little bit, your faith and your trust. So you don't want to stay in that mindset for very long. And God will help you. Spirit, Source, Universe will help you cultivate that. So, you know, many times when I look back at my own life, my life tried to break me many times. And as I can tell you, I developed resilience early on in my life. And what I called it was getting back up on the horse when life throws you off of the horse. So we have to develop and cultivate this resilience that we've been talking about. You know, persist through those challenges, or if you want to call them setbacks, roadblocks, or even failures. You remember, failure is nothing to fear. All it is a temporary stoppage to whatever it is, and then you're going to get back up on the horse and ride and try again. So, you know, there's something, I dare you to use your imagination. Use that imaginative power that you were created with. Let yourself see you persevering through whatever challenge it is that you're having trouble with. You know, dig deep. Resilience, dig deep inside of yourself. It's an inner soul feel that you're going to feel. Like when you have failed at a certain thing, dig deep inside yourself. You know, bear down with all your might, and you'll find that you're going to persevere through that challenge. Push that fire to the outside. Each one of us has that fire within us that the Holy Spirit gives to us. You know, maybe yesterday you failed, but that doesn't mean you're going to fail today. Remember, failure is just a temporary stoppage. Push through all the challenges. You know, practice resilience each and every day, and you're going to watch yourself. You're going to feel yourself bounce back, because at the end of all the pain is success. At the end of all the pain is you know, at the end of the pain, it's not failure. It's, you're going to feel and see yourself push through that perseverance. It's victory at the end of the pain. And so believe that you can. You know, you're not going to be able to persevere through it if all you think about is, oh, I'm going to fail again because I failed last week, or that I failed, you know, whenever it was. Keep going. Determine within yourself that you're never going to quit. Quitting is not an option, okay? Failure is not an option. Never stop or slow down. Our greatest glory is not in never failing. As I mentioned before, don't be afraid of failure. But it's in rising every time we fall. Like I felt when I was a little boy, I didn't even allow myself to feel me laying down on the pavement. I got back up almost the second that I fell down. I rose again. And so that grit or resilience requires cultivating a mindset that expects challenges. Don't think there's not going to be challenges in this life. It normalizes failures and fuels the passion through the obstacle. You'll find that you have so much passion and compassion within this heart of yours. It's a muscle that gets stronger and stronger through practice. So again, we just want to recap here. That resilience will help you regulate your emotions, and like I said, I dropped a video, it's been quite some time now, about the 13 modalities of self-awareness, and in that helps you see where your trigger points are, okay? What triggers you? What brings you that good feeling? What brings that self-discipline? I also detail how to get rid of all the old bad habits and replace them with only good habits, okay? And so if you want to review that, I invite you to review that video. If not, you can write to me, and I have some things in print as well. But optimism is another one. Stop being pessimistic, okay? Stop planning to fail. We have to see the challenges, that's true, but see yourself persevering, see yourself gaining the victory. And that self-efficacy, the belief in your capabilities and competence, is going to form the bedrock to that resilience that you're after. You know, build strong relationships instead of, you know, like I mentioned already before, there's going to be people some places and some things that you can't bring forward on your journey when you spiritually awaken, and when you're starting to heal all the wounds, all the all those things that are within you that need to be healed. And you'll find that things are going to get easier and easier as it comes along. So I hope that this in some way helped you understand resilience. And of course, as you awaken spiritually and you begin that pathway to victory, as far as healing all those wounds that you have deep inside of you, please let us know if we can help you in any way. If you need some questions answered, or you just don't know how to proceed, we're here for you. And as we continue on with our videos, we will be dropping a video. Actually, it's in the editing process now, is about wearing that armor each and every day, wearing the armor of God as you get ready and leave your home each and every day. And this will be a huge help as you are persevering with resilience and healing and all the challenges that come with this physical life as well. But remember, go deep inside yourself, reconnect with your soul, with that inner self, and you'll find that things get easier and easier, because the answers are deep within yourself. They're not on the outside. All you're going to get on the outside is more misery, more defensiveness instead of being on the offensive. You're going to attract the same kind of people. So go deep inside yourself, mirror all that stuff to the outside, and it's nothing that you have to know. It's going to happen automatically. And not only finding different relationships, but just showing the love to the outside, and then you're going to attract all kinds of things: money, good job, relationships, so forth and so on. And but as we bring this to a close, again, I want to remind you of our email is soulify861@gmail.com. That's soulify861@gmail.com, or you can leave comments in the YouTube section. But we do have some security features built into the Gmail account there, and we do have folks that monitor those emails day by day. And so if we can do anything at all for you, please let us know. And again, this is Dan from the Soulify Group, and I love each and every one of you, and I want you to have an extraordinary day today. Get out in nature, get out and enjoy the sunshine if it's out where you are. And again, you'll see us producing and directing from nature as much as possible. We only go to the on the inside of a building if we have to. But again, this is Dan, and I love each and every one of you. Until the next video.